Good evening and welcome to the November 25th meeting of the Concord Select Board. The item on our agenda is the update to list of, we are being recorded, Jen reminds me, and being broadcast, I think. So the item on our agenda this evening is the update list of committees designated as special municipal employees for the purpose of the state conflict of interest law and the law, Chapter 268A, and we have with us the town clerk.
Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity. As you know, the conflict of interest law looks at where the public and private lives of municipal employees intersect to help ensure. Should I be speaking into this?
You should.
Sorry about that. Maybe I'll change chairs.
But tell us who you are.
I'm sorry. I'm Kari Maitari, town clerk in Concord. As you know, the conflict of interest law looks at where public and private lives of municipal employees intersect to ensure ethical conduct of town business at all times. The law designates all employees and members of boards and committees as municipal employees, whether they're paid or unpaid. Now, this is a very restrictive law for our civic-minded citizens who volunteer countless hours and also often work in town and have work interests with town departments, boards or committees that have nothing to do with the committees that they serve on. So the special municipal employee designation allows members of boards and committees to represent clients or themselves, conduct business, and enter contracts with public entities that have nothing to do with the committees on which they serve. And there are a few committees since the last time the board reviewed this that have not been designated as such. And there is a member on one of these committees who has an interest in a committee that has nothing to do with a department that has nothing to do with the business of the committee, who has asked that this be taken up.
Kari, am I also understanding that this is something we should be doing on an annual basis? Making these kinds of designations of committees?
Well, the designation remains until it is removed. So it is something that could be done when you appoint or create a new committee. You can designate, because it's not the individuals, it's the committee that's designated as special municipal employee. So it can be done as you go, or you can review it annually.
So but once it's done, that's in effect until we would withdraw the designation?
Yes.
Okay, so the items before us tonight are essentially catch-up.
Yes,
that we have not
exactly.
done for new committees and new appointments in town.
Yes.
That the board has not done previously. Correct?
Yes.
Very well.
Can I ask a
Questions?
question? What about advisory committees? I'm thinking about the Climate Action Advisory Committee, but they're not.
It applies to any committee. The minute someone is appointed, they become a special municipal employee, regardless of what the committee is and.
So regardless of time.
Correct.
The length of time
Yes.
of that committee's okay.
Yeah.
And what about something like the Capital Planning Task Force?
If it's an appointed committee, the same rules apply.
Right, so
The law
I don't
applies.
see that on the list.
So we should, to the list that you have, so this handout is, the first one is stuff that's already been designated, and then the second page is new committees that we're going to appoint
No, they're included in that.
Yeah,
in
I
the
mean,
motion.
I think if the capital planning is a task force, we'll have to,
Well, it's whether or not they're appointed. If they're,
but if people who are municipal employees are appointed, you can't be a municipal employee and a special municipal employee.
That's what
I-
That would go for the building committee too, the
Right.
school building.
I think the school building committee is, again, that's something that MSBA sets by state statute. If it's an MSBA thing, that's a little,
Different.
we'd have to maybe do a little bit more research on that, but I know from being on another committee that I couldn't no longer serve on because you can't be a municipal employee and a special municipal employee. So I think I would just
Right.
say, let's hold
Right.
off on capital planning until we sort that
Square.
out.
Okay, so if staff members are also committee
We are
members,
appointed
then it
members.
becomes a conflict, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, Linda?
But the climate action advisory, we're adding?
We're adding, because that's not,
On the Action Advisory Board? Is that
advisory
formal?
committee.
Advisory Committee, okay.
Do we
So,
have staff on that committee? Is Kate?
Well, I don't know, is Kate a voting member?
No, she's
Oh,
not.
okay,
She's not.
okay.
She's
Then it
staff,
wouldn't be.
she's staff support, but on the
Right.
capital planning, it's, we
But-
do not distinguish
Designated
that.
member.
Right.
Yeah.
there are a couple of citizens, 3 citizens on the capital planning task force.
But it is the committee, it's not individuals. You have to look at it
Right.
committee-wide.
Right, so some of the people are municipal employees, and some are citizens at large.
So they're all considered municipal under, for
Right.
that committee.
Right.
There can't be a
What
special.
do we do if we learn that we do need to do the, let's take an example, of the task force?
I can tell you what I would do in the situation, that we would make it a town manager task force. It would be the same people, just appointed as a task force, and you would continue to post the meetings and do all the same stuff. It'd just be the method of appointment would be a task force appointed by the manager versus a committee appointed by the select board.
Which means that they then report their findings to you for,
How's that?
rather than reporting their findings to the select board for their business.
I think it would be the task force charge could be advised the select board and town manager, and so they would report back jointly, and that's.
Well, let's cross that bridge when we get to it, so
Okay.
we'll
I have
figure it out. Go ahead, Susan.
a question about economic vitality, because the tourism and visitor center manager is appointed and as a town employee, so she's special and not special. Municipal employee.
So then that committee, we'd have to hold off on.
So we're going to strike.
We'd have to look
Or
into
or
that,
she would
right?
she would just not be she would not be a voting
Voting
member.
member.
She would just be a,
Yeah, so we have to amend the charge somehow.
Well, or get some clarification of it.
Yeah.
And I know there is MSBA statute, but does that
What
make
supersedes
a
what?
difference to this
Yeah.
action?
I-
Because
that-
middle
that-
school building committee is on here.
right.
Right,
I think we need to check on that.
yeah.
Under MSBA rules, the town manager, the superintendent, people like that are ex officio members of school building committee.
Oh, you're not voting members?
No, by virtue of the position, meaning we are voting members, but it's just whoever the town manager is, that person is on the committee, whoever the superintendent is, that
Right.
person is on the committee by virtue of being the superintendent.
Right,
So,
So,
Same dilemma.
same dilemma,
same, right.
well, no, I think the statute exempts them from this special municipal employee thing, but I think that one needs more homework.
Yeah.
the same
I didn't
case
mean
with.
I didn't mean to complicate it, I
That's
just,
fine, thanks for complicating, might as well get it, try to get it
Well,
right.
the registrars are, the Board of Registrars are currently special municipal employees, and I am a de facto member because I'm the town clerk. I'm a member of the Board of Registrars.
A voting member?
Yes,
there are certain positions
law.
like I said, that are covered, that cover this, but then the general, if it's not otherwise
So
covered
it may be the
statute.
case that the middle school building committee is covered under MSBA something or other, but vitality
No.
and capital planning perhaps not.
Correct.
But also, we're listing here the building inspector. Is that person an employee?
So, yeah, I had the same question. There are, like, the wiring inspector on the composite list that we were given.
He's on the, or that person's on the original
Gas
list.
inspector, there were certain positions like
I
that.
think there are positions that can be designated. It's not just committees that are designated as special, but there are appointed positions, so that it's not an appointed single member of a committee, but it's an appointed position.
So the wiring guy is somebody who has wiring expertise, but he could have a business in town that did wiring.
Yes, in fact, that's an example here, I think.
But, okay, he's got a business in town that does wiring, let's say, and therefore could, so we're saying that because of his expertise, he's a special municipal employee, he could also then
continue his livelihood.
compete for a town contract.
Yeah, obviously, I think it goes without saying, those inspections are usually like a per call thing.
Right,
They're not regular full-time employees.
Right, but what
Exactly,
about-
they have to, there's a number of hours that they're not allowed
The
to
building
exceed.
Building
Inspector,
inspector
though.
is, but
Right.
the other ones are not.
right, and we're adding tonight the building inspector, so that's my question.
Is that
person-
full-time?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that probably would not,
That goes off.
right.
And then what about places where we've got committees? I'm thinking about the agricultural committee. And some of the members of the agricultural committee are town farm, I'm thinking of Barrett's Mill Farm.
What about it?
That's okay.
And Barrett's Mill Farm is a town farm.
But they're just lessees, they're not.
They're just lessees, okay. Okay.
It does get complicated quickly.
Your 5 minutes is up.
So I did read in Carrie's information that it's an all or nothing. Like, if you do this for some, you should do it for all, or you could just do it for none, and maybe there's a case to be made that we should just undesignate versus try and
So
stay
wait a
on top
minute,
of
so
this.
we're saying that if we do it for some of these, but we discover that there are reasons we can't do it for all, then we can't do it for any?
No, you have an option.
Have an option. I wouldn't want to do it for, I wouldn't want to, if we did it for nobody, then we would have to deal with it.
We wouldn't have any
as a per-
volunteers.
Well, people
Less.
who are on committees could come to us and say, hey,
Yeah. No, it makes us to do it. I think
Let's-
there's just a couple that just need a little
all
more.
right, so we're gonna do a little more research on this, and by we, I mean Carrie.
Yes,
And then we will come back at a regularly scheduled board meeting and deal with those that we have taken off this list tonight. So just referring to that we have removed the building inspector, the economic vitality committee, and we have not added the capital planning committee. And should we take the middle school building committee off, or are we pretty confident of that?
I think it's just a matter of who is the state law.
I would take it off.
All right, so let's take it off.
Just to make sure we have our ducks in a
Yeah,
row on
absolutely.
what the controlling legal authority is.
All right, so are there any more questions, or yes?
And then adding the Climate Action Advisory Committee?
Climate Action Advisory Committee, we've added.
Right, okay.
All right, any more questions? All right, I would be pleased to entertain a motion. In fact, we have two.
Okay, move to, well, let me just ask a question before we do this. If I understood correctly, we're going to revisit this list before we approve it?
No, we're amending this list by taking those three off and adding the climate action, and we're going to approve that, and then
Come back on the
Carrie
others?
reports back to us, we're going to pick up.
Okay, okay, just.
So we're naming the ones we're putting on today.
right.
Yes, okay. Move to approve the updated list of designated special list of municipal employees to delete the following dissolved committees: East Middlesex Mosquito Control Commission and the HATS Environmental Review Committee.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Move to approve the updated list of designated special municipal employees to include the following committees: Affordable Housing Trust Study Committee, the Concord Center Cultural District Committee, the Financial Audit Advisory Committee, NMI StarMet Reuse Planning Committee, PEG Access Advisory Committee, Pollinator Health Advisory Committee, West Concord Junction Cultural District Committee, and Climate Action Advisory Committee.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And your last motion of the evening?
Okay. Move to approve the deleted list of designated special municipal employees.
No, we're not.
This is the last one.
Number 3.
All right, thank you.
You're
Move
welcome.
to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.